Imagine living in a van to chase your racing dreams. Sounds wild, right? But that's exactly what one determined individual did. And now he's making waves in the NASCAR world. Mooresville, North Carolina. The stories of dedication and sacrifice that individuals have made to carve out a niche in NASCAR are woven into the very essence of the sport. Competing at the national level in NASCAR is not just a dream. It's an expensive endeavor that often requires individuals to make tough financial choices, all in pursuit of a dream that may or may not come to fruition. Sam Hunt, the owner of an Xfinity Series team, is a prime example of this journey. Originally from Virginia, Hunt was living in his home state 8 years ago, fresh out of Virginia Commonwealth University with a finance degree, while also managing a single car that he raced locally. Despite receiving a job offer outside of racing, Hunt felt an undeniable pull towards his passion. He envisioned owning a competitive team that would start at the grassroots level of NASCAR and eventually ascend to the national stage. One day, while sitting on the couch with his then-girlfriend, now wife, Noelle, he shared his ambitious vision with her. To his surprise, she encouraged him to pursue it, even though it would mean significant changes in their lives. My dad was a high school football coach who could have easily moved up to college coaching, but he loved high school football too much to leave it behind, Noelle recalled. So when Sam shared his dream, I thought, go for it. If it doesn't pan out, you have your degree to fall back on. To chase this dream, Hunt had to make a big move to the Charlotte, North Carolina area, where nearly all NASCAR teams are based. This relocation came with hefty expenses, and the costs associated with starting a racing team were even more daunting. I must be a bit foolish, Hunt chuckled, acknowledging that someone with a finance background should have known better than to dive into the world of NASCAR team ownership. Yet, driven by his ambition, Hunt pressed on. He relocated to Mooresville, North Carolina, a suburb of Charlotte, and established his new company, Sam Hunt Racing, during the drive from Virginia. For the first 6 months, he lived in a blue Ford Transit van parked at a race shop where he rented space. Each day began with him waking up, heading into the shop to work on building cars, and then finishing his day at a nearby gym for a shower. On weekends, when the team performed exceptionally well, he would occasionally treat himself to a room at a budget motel. The van also served as the team's transportation to races and even to the year-end awards ceremony, leading to some rather awkward moments. We were in the valet area, and while everyone else was getting into their fancy cars, you could hear this awful squeal coming from the parking garage, and then our blue van would pull up, Hunt reminisced. I'll never forget that there was a piece of toilet paper stuck to the back tire. As he recounts this story, Noelle shakes her head, recalling the embarrassment. That van was so loud and squeaky, she added. Everyone was staring at us. Slowly but surely, Sam Hunt Racing evolved into a competitive team in the ARCA East Series, which is essentially NASCAR's rookie league. However, Hunt's journey was far from over. Fast forward 8 years, and Hunt now owns a full-time Xfinity team with a solid crew of 23 employees. Sam Hunt Racing made its Xfinity debut in 2019, entering the season finale at Homestead. To afford a pit crew, something not required in the series where SHR typically competed, Hunt had to sell his beloved van. That race was crucial. If they hadn't qualified, SHR would have faced a long, uncertain winter, with the real possibility of shutting down. Fortunately, they qualified, averting a potential disaster. The following year, the team expanded to 9 races. And by 2021, they were racing full-time. It's incredibly stressful to carry that weight, but it's also the most rewarding feeling to know that I'm not just taking care of myself, but also the families of my team members, Hunt expressed. That brings me the ultimate fulfillment. As SHR continued to grow, competing against larger teams with more resources, Hunt's story has become one of the sport's most inspiring narratives. What they accomplish with their limited resources is truly impressive, said Tyler Reddick, a full-time Cup driver who has made select Xfinity starts for SHR. Sam puts in so much effort to provide for his team, and it's hard not to root for someone like him to succeed. Like many teams operating on a tight budget, creativity is essential in how they allocate their funds. In NASCAR, money often translates to speed, but you can't spend what you don't have. Achieving success means finding innovative ways to gain an edge. Heim has focused on bringing in individuals who are either looking for their first big break or seeking a fresh start in a sport that can be quite demanding. Recently, he made two significant hires: rookie Dean Thompson as the full-time driver of their primary Toyota entry, and Jesse Little as vice president of business development. Thompson had some success in the NASCAR Truck Series but hadn't reached the heights he aspired to, while Little was eager to return to the competitive side of racing after working in NASCAR officiating. "We're all people with a chip on our shoulder," Thompson said. "We share a similar mindset. Everyone is committed to the team's success, and from the moment I met them, I knew this was the culture I wanted to be a part of." When asked to describe SHR, Jack Irving, general manager of Toyota, "They're all in, constantly striving to improve, and they've got individuals who don't always fit into the big corporate teams, but they thrive in this environment." Although Irving isn't directly part of SHR, he has played a crucial role in its development. Through a mutual connection, J.D. Gibbs, the late son of NASCAR Hall of Fame team owner Joe Gibbs and a mentor to Hunt, Irving was introduced to Hunt and was impressed by his determination. Hunt was transparent about his capabilities and, more importantly, his limitations. "All the little things that Hunt did right were impressive," Irving said, "and those small details are often the hardest to get right unless you genuinely care. The more time you spend with him, the more you realize how sincere he is. He's not just looking for a handout. He's genuinely trying to do things the right way." Before long, SHR began receiving support from Toyota, which allowed the team to enhance its previously modest on-track performance, helping them stand out among other similarly budgeted teams. The partnership has grown to the point where Toyota has entrusted some of its drivers to SHR, including Cup Series stars Reddick and Christopher Bell, both of whom have raced for SHR in recent years, along with Heim, a highly regarded prospect in NASCAR. Toyota's decision to place Heim with SHR speaks volumes about their confidence in Hunt to create a competitive environment for the 23-year-old who is widely recognized in the Cup garage as a potential Sunday driver, someone capable of competing at the highest level in NASCAR. Heim is expected to make several starts for the team next year, although a full-time position will depend on securing adequate sponsorship. While SHR has made significant strides, there's still a long road ahead for Hunt to check off every item on his ambitious list, as the team is still in pursuit of its first ever win or playoff berth. When that day comes, Noelle humorously mentioned that she might need some help. "I'll probably need to be carried to victory lane because I might faint," she joked, "and I'll definitely be in tears." Hunt is optimistic about achieving this goal. "In the beginning, I wanted it for myself, almost selfishly, because of all the hard work I put in to reach that one milestone," Hunt reflected. "Now I want it just as badly, but for different reasons. I think about my team being in victory lane every day because that would be the most incredible experience. We shouldn't have made it to this level. We're accomplishing things I never thought possible. I want everyone on this team to experience that success." Top illustration, Kelsey Peterson, Athletic. Photos, Toyota Gazoo Racing, courtesy of Sam Hunt Racing.